get my supplies here. Ooh, which tabby tabs do I want to use? Hello, my fellow book lovers. Welcome to today's video. I'm actually really excited for this video because this is going to just be like a chill reading vlog, because this is going to be the first part in rereading my 5-star reads. And these are going to be like full spoiler rereads. These are my 5-star favorite reads. So if you haven't read these books yet, maybe don't watch this video, even though I would like you to. But yeah, these are going to be full spoiler of my 5-star reads. I'm super excited because we are starting with like my first ever 5-star read, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is my all-time favorite book ever. Like, this is the book I recommend to everybody who is like wanting to get into reading or something like that, or just like is looking for a new romance, who hasn't read Ali Hazelwood yet. And I'm like, you need to read The Love Hypothesis. This is my all-time, like I said, favorite book. I haven't read it since the first time. Like, I've only read it once. Yeah, so this is going to be my first reread of the book, and honestly, I have been putting it off for quite a while because I'm just nervous that like rereading it, it's not going to live back up to the expectations, or live back up to the expectations that I remember having and like remember reading this book. I remember being so addicted and in love with this book that like I was a different person before I read this and then after I read this. Like, I don't know what this was. This book is literally like what flipped the switch in me to like be obsessed with reading and like romance and like books. Like, I was already super into reading, but it like wasn't like what it is after I read this book. You know, this book changed the game for me, okay? Like, it changed the game. I've been putting it off because I just like don't want to like reread it and then it just like fall short of like what I remember and like what I remember feeling. So I'm praying that like all these books, when I reread them, that they're still gonna be 5 stars. I have a feeling this one will though. And the only reason I am nervous though is because every Ali Hazelwood book that I've read after this one just like doesn't live up to this book for me. Like, every book after has been like falling shorter and shorter of like what I was expecting of her. But I absolutely loved Adam and Olive the first time, and like I just like you know what I mean? Like, I am so excited, and I've been putting it off. Like, I've been wanting to do this reread since January. I just like haven't had enough time to reread it. Like if my job was just to read books, it'd be over for you bitches, honestly. Like, I would have read so many books by this time if my job was just to read books, and I really wish it was. I really wish it was. I'm gonna like annotate and tab this time because I wasn't into annotating or tabbing when I first got into reading. So, and also I'm gonna put it in my little book sleeve that my friend made me. She made it for me for Christmas, and I'm so happy I finally get to use it, even though I'm literally just gonna go outside to like our little courtyard area at our apartment complex to read. I'm just excited to use it. I'm very excited to do this reread. I'm so excited. You know, I'm just happy that I get to do it now because I've been planning it and waiting, and the time has come. This was a really long intro for me to just say, hey, I'm rereading my 5-star reads. Next time you see me, I will be reading. You guys, it's now after 6 o'clock. I filmed that last clip, I want to say around 12 or 12:30, and I still haven't been able to start this because let me tell you, I did a rough cut of the video I was editing. It took me like 4 hours. Took me 4 hours, so I didn't actually get to read anything yet. And plus, let me tell you, the pollen was winning today. The pollen was winning, okay? I went outside immediately, nose was running. Allergy season is upon me, and I'm not happy about it. I didn't get to read outside like I had wanted to, but that's fine because you know what? We're gonna start right now. We're gonna read. I'm super excited, like I said, to start reading this book. I'm really excited to finally like go in and annotate it and everything like that, because there are so many like parts that I actually forgot about. Like, I actually just like flipped through it one day and like read a passage and I was like, oh my god, I forgot that was a thing. Like, there are some things in here that I particularly remember. Other things I'm like, that happened? I'm gonna start reading. I'm in the prologue now. I have all my annotation supplies. Right in the prologue, Adam is mentioned. The guy whose name she never really got. dreamy deep. That's the way she described his voice. Ugh, I'm gonna be annotating the crap out of this. Okay, because I literally 2 pages in and I'm like, oh my god, I remember why I love this so much. I forgot. She goes, because she put in expired contacts, she goes, the burning usually only lasts a few minutes. You mean you've done this before? She frowned. Done what? Put in expired contacts. Of course, contacts aren't cheap. Neither are eyes. I think it's funny how she extended her hand and then was like, I'm Olive, like the tree, which was funny. But he then didn't tell her his name, which like makes sense but also doesn't make sense, like for her to not know who he is. He didn't say that he was a professor at the school. And like if he had just said his first name, I don't think that would have been like a dead giveaway for like later of being like, oh, like that was the guy in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, his name is just Adam. Like, that's a common name. So, like, if there was, like, another guy named Adam, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't, like, also say his name. Anyways, continuing on to chapter 1. Just realized she just kissed Adam Carlson. It's funny. Okay, so he literally was just like, because they just kissed, obviously, in the first chapter. And he goes, did you kiss? He goes, did you just kiss me? And he was like actually surprised by it. And I think he was like, obviously this like part here, like rereading it now, I'm like, oh, he must have like, obviously because he liked her, like if you've read the book before, like you know, like he liked her this whole time. He was just like, he really wanted her to have kissed him because she wanted to. She says no, even though she just did. He goes, okay then. And then he walks away. And then he goes, are you sure? And she goes, it's not what it looks like. He goes, okay, what's going on here? And then she's just like, it's not really your business. He goes, right, I'll just go back to my office and begin on my Title IX complaint. Because he got annoyed because he wanted Olive to kiss him. Just to kiss him, not because of like any other reason. He goes, I must be mistaken then. Someone else must have assaulted me. Okay, buddy. Way to go from 0 to 100 really quick. I mean, granted, she did kiss him. So I guess that's fair. Assault. I didn't assault you. You did kiss me, but not really. Without first securing my consent, I asked if I could kiss you. And then you did so without waiting for my response. She sprints down the hallway as he's calling her name, and she's just like, I never told you my name. Wouldn't that make you wonder You guys, it's actually been, I think, about 2 weeks since I even picked up this book. I just want to say, like, no, I'm not. Like, I just have gotten distracted. I've had to film other videos, and my sister was here visiting, so I didn't want to, like, have to film any videos while she was here and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to pick up this book in, like, 2 weeks. From the last time I updated you, I don't think, I was definitely not as far in as I am right now. I'm currently 205 pages in, and I'm trying to think of, like, from where we were. I think we were in, like, really early on, and I don't remember. I think I was probably like in chapter 4 or something like that, now that I like think back on it, and I'm like going through and like looking at all my underlines and like, oh, this book just makes me so happy. Like, just this page I flipped to on chapter 4, literally she's talking about how handsome Adam is, and like they're on their first date in this one. So I kind of just wanted to go back through like everything that I've read so far up until the point, just like kind of briefly go through it, like remind you of some of my favorite things, or just like remind myself of some of my favorite things, because I don't think I filmed it while I think I filmed some of it, but I didn't film all of it, of me going through like rereading this, because that was like the whole point of this, was for me to like document and like really like figure out if this book is still gonna be like a 5 stars for me. Honestly, it is. It already is. Like, I literally read the prologue and was like 5 stars. Like there was no doubt. Still my favorite book to date. Like, without a doubt. No, one of the funny things, oh, this was so funny. She asked him where he was born, and he goes, "Is this one of your green card marriage interview questions?" Stop. Like, the fact that he's only a jokester, only a funny guy for Olive. Stop. He is actually so fucking cute. And she goes, and this was when they were on their first date technically. And she goes, well, this was fun. He goes, is fake dating one's date over? Like, so cute, because he's like trying to get to know her too, like in this chapter. Oh, because he asks her like where she was born, because she's not from America, she's from Canada. So like he was just trying to get to know her and stuff like that. Ugh, so cute. Okay. And the fact that he always calls her a smartass, it's funny, because he like literally would probably never talk to another person like that, because he just likes to be a dick to everyone else but Olive. And he was just like, he's like, you smartass, like she's, because she's being fucking quirky and funny and girly, and he's like, you're a smartass. Love that. And then in this one I wrote LOL me. I did me LOL, because the line is, and this is like an inner thought that she has, because he got a haircut. Well, first of all, this is like, I think their second date, and he was in a mood. He was in like a really big mood. And so she ordered him a chamomile tea, and he was like, I hate tea. And she goes, that's unfortunate. And he calls her a smartass, right? So then he's smiling, but she noticed he got a haircut. So she was like, oh, so it's not the haircut as to why you're moody? And he was just like, no. And then her inner thought, because she liked his haircut, was like, it looks good, as in really good. You were probably one of the most handsome men I don't even know why I'm laughing. She goes, it says, let me just restart this. It looks good, as in really good. You were probably one of the most handsome men I'd ever talked to last week. But now you look even better. Not that I care about these things. I don't care at all. I rarely notice guys, and I'm not sure why I'm noticing you, or your hair, or your clothes, or how tall and broad you are. I really don't get it. I never care, usually. Like, me. Well, actually not me, but me as well. Like, the inner monologuing of, like, the spiral, me. And she goes, he was funny, in that weird, dark way of his. Oh, and then this part. Okay, so she has been emailing with Tom too, who is one of the guys. So she's trying to get like, not a fellowship, but she's trying to do a year at another school where they have more funds, so that she can like fund this specific like project that she's doing. And then so Tom, who works over at Harvard, who's like a Harvard professor, like director, I don't remember exactly his position. He runs a science lab there. And so she's been talking to him, find out that he was coming to Stanford, which is where she goes to school, because Adam is friends with Tom, and they have a project they're working on together as well, like a grant funded project. So he's talking to her. And so this is like the introduction, because Olive and Adam are together when Tom comes over, and she gets this introduction to this person that she's supposed to meet later in the day, who she's never met before, who like basically is like interviewing her in a sense for like giving her a spot to work in his lab next year. He introduces them. She goes, yes, I'm Olive, and Tom goes, the girlfriend I've heard so much about. And Adam's like, heard from who? Because he's like, I didn't say anything. Tom was like, everyone. Adam's like, everyone? In Boston? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, why are people at Harvard talking about my girlfriend?
First of all, they're fake dating, so he knows it. Well, Tom doesn't know that they're obviously not really dating. But, like, the fact that he said... He was like, my girlfriend. Stop it. I was screaming. Olive was over here, like, shocked, first of all. And then she's going on to, like, talk about how, like, he looks young, but not as young as Adam, or as tall, or as handsome. Not as handsome as Adam. And I'm just like, stop it, girly. You are in so deep, and you don't even realize. Ugh. I love that. Love it. So they're at the coffee shop now because they're meeting with Tom. I'm literally just giving you a play-by-play of this book right now, of all my favorite parts that are happening, which is fine. This is a spoiler reading vlog. That's the point of this, okay? The parts that get me excited. This is, you know, one of the lines. So they're sitting at a table together. Olive and Tom are like having their meeting right now, or like just kind of getting to know each other before they have like a strict, or like before she sends him all his research and stuff. And then she goes, Tom's like asking her questions that like really shouldn't be asking her. Like it has nothing to do with her project. And she like gets all flustered because Adam asks her a question, and it says, Adam turned to Olive. His knee brushed hers, warm and oddly reassuring through her jeans. I love them. I love them. And then at one point he goes, stop harassing my girlfriend, where he's not like harassing her, but he's like asking her like kind of like inappropriate questions. Not like sexually inappropriate questions, but like questions about her life that like things he doesn't need to know. But then, and Adam's like, stop harassing my girlfriend. Like, bro, it's calling her your girlfriend because she is. And then, oof, this part got me. This gets me every time because honestly, this is like even me now with my husband, if I notice that he does this, I'm like getting butterflies and everything. It goes, Olive noticed that he was looking at her shoulder. When she followed his gaze, she realized that Adam had placed his arm on the back of her chair. He wasn't touching her, but there was something protective about his position. He seemed to generate large amounts of heat, which was not at all unwelcome. Me getting flustered. Well, okay, I imagine she's flustered. That's how I would play Olive. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say flustered. I would, yeah, probably a little bit flustered because she's nervous. Well, I don't know. She is nervous because she likes Adam and she just doesn't even realize it. But then she's also nervous because of Tom. And like, Adam makes her feel more secure, which is nice. Oh my God, but this is so funny. This part was so funny. This had me cackling the first time I read it, and even the second time I read it. So they're just like obviously having a conversation. She's talking with Tom, and Tom goes, well, Olive is like, oh, well, we usually meet at my place because she's never been to Adam's. And he goes, oh, I see. You disapprove of his taxidermy collection, don't you? He then excuses himself to go get some coffee. It goes, the inner thought is, well, not the inner thought, whatever. The second he was gone, Olive instantly turned to Adam. Now that they were alone, there were about 10 million topics for them to debrief on. But the only thing she could think of was, do you really have a taxidermy collection? Or do you really collect taxidermied animals? And I wrote, me though. Like, because that was me. That would have been absolutely me. I would have definitely thought, like, first thing to come to my brain would have been like, do you really have a taxidermy collection? Like, and it was funny because he's like, obviously I don't have a taxidermy collection. Like, he was just making a joke, and it was really funny. I could not stop laughing the first time I read that. Oh, okay, and then chapter 6. Okay, this chapter also good when we get to like certain parts, because this is the chapter where like they're in the lecture that Tom is giving. Like he's giving like a guest lecture that anyone can go see, and this is like where like Olive has to like go sit on his lap and stuff like that. And then, so for chapter 6, the hypothesis for the chapter is, when compared with multiple types, sorry, I'm going too fast because I'm so excited. When compared with multiple types and models of furniture, Adam Carlson's lap will be rated in the top 5th percentile for comfort, coziness, and enjoyment. Me. Oh yeah, because then Anne, okay, because I did this and like Olive literally was like deer in headlights. She looks at Olive and she goes, it'd be great if you could do me a solid and sit on your boyfriend's lap all, just so I don't have to stand on my toes, because he offers to stand for Olive to take a seat. And she's just like, Anna's like, broski, no, sit down. Olive can sit on your lap. And then Anne also goes, why, you're taking up space we don't have, and it's illogical that you use Carlson as a chair. I would, but he's your boyfriend, not mine. And then this part I tabbed, she was like, stop, okay. Sorry, I'm just like smiling when reading this. Anyways, she goes, is this okay? She tried to ask him with her eyes, because maybe this is a little too much. Way more than saying hi to each other and having coffee together. He gave her a brief nod, and then Olive, or at least Olive's body, was stepping toward Adam and gingerly sitting on his thigh, her knees tucked between his spread legs. It was happening. It had already happened. Olive was here, sitting on Adam. This. Yep, this. This is her life now. And she keeps apologizing, and he's just like, it's fine. Like, it's fine because I'm in love with you. Like, you're good. Like, I'd like to have you sitting on my lap. Thank you. And she kept saying sorry, and he just like shushes her. He slid his arm around her waist, his hand coming to rest on her hip in a gesture that should have been unpleasant but felt reassuring. And then he goes, more material for my, he was being a jokester, right? He's being a jokester because he only is a jokester for Olive. And he goes, more material for my Title IX complete. And then she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he's like, Olive. He was like, I was kidding. You weigh nothing. I don't mind. And he's like, just shush and focus on the lecture. She's like, this was just seriously, sorry, my oven is going off. I'm ignoring it till I finish this page. This was just seriously the whole business. It was completely, utterly comfortable. Adam Carlson's lap was one of the most comfortable places on earth, as it turned out. He was warm and solid in a pleasant, soothing way, and he didn't seem to mind too much having Olive draped over him. After a short while, she realized that the room was truly too full for anyone to be paying attention to them, except for a quick glance from Holden Rodriguez, who studied Adam for a long moment and then smiled warmly at Olive before focusing on the talk. She stopped pretending to be able to hold her spine upright for more than 5 minutes and just let herself lean into Adam's torso. He didn't say anything, but angled himself a little, just to help her fit more comfortably. Somewhere halfway through the talk, she realized that she had been sliding down Adam's thigh. Or to be fair, Adam realized and lifted her up, straightening her in a firm, quick pull that made her feel like she really didn't weigh anything. Once she was stable again, he didn't move his arm from where it was, snaked around her waist. The talk had been happening for 35 minutes, going on a century, so no one could blame Olive if she sank into him a little bit more. It was fine. It was more than fine, actually. It was nice. He goes, don't fall asleep. She goes, I'm not, though you're so comfy. His fingers tightened on her, maybe to wake her up, maybe to hold her closer. And he goes, you look like you're about to take a nap. And she goes, it's that I've read all of Tom's articles. I already know what he's saying. And he's like, yeah, same. Like, we've cited some of this stuff in our grant proposal or whatever. And then she goes, maybe you should ask a question to liven this up. And he goes, me? She goes, I'm sure you can come up with something. Just raise your hand and make a mean observation with that tone of yours. Glare at him. It might devolve into an entertaining outbreak of fisticuffs. And then he goes, you're such a smart ass. Like, stop. Love it. Love it. Okay. She like asks him if he wants to fake break up, and he's like, no, I don't want to fake break up. And then she like inner monologues to herself. He's like, he really did smell good. And he was funny in a weird deadpan way. And yes, a known ass, but friendly enough to her that she could sort of ignore that about him. And I just like really liked that. I don't know why I liked that so much, but I did. Okay. I'm going to go turn my oven off because I was making lunch. And I'll be back to finish this. Okay, I'm back. As I was saying, okay, this part of the chapter also gets really good because Anne and Olive had like left the lecture or whatnot. So they were walking together. And the next thing you know, someone's car in the parking lot like broke down or something like that, stalled. So Adam was out in the parking lot and he was helping them. And then Olive notices that, and he was pushing the truck by himself in the parking lot to move it out of the way. And then Olive is just so flustered by this, and he goes, his shoulders and his biceps strained intently. The firm muscles of his upper back visibly shifted and tensed under the black fabric as he bent forward and rolled several tons of a truck across quite a bit of a distance into the closest empty parking space. Oh. Anne goes, oh, go give him a kiss. And she's like, what? No. I just said goodbye to him a minute ago. Bitch, what do you mean? Just go. If he's your boyfriend, it's not that big of a deal. And then Anne's like, oh, why don't you want to go kiss your boyfriend? And she's like, it's not that I don't want to, and she goes, dude, he just moved a truck by himself on uphill ground. He deserves a damn kiss. Like, yeah, girly, he does, actually. And you want to kiss him. So just do it. She doesn't want to do PD or whatever. And then she goes, Adam's head was bent forward, black hair covering his forehead as he wiped the sweat from his eyes with the hem of his shirt. It left a broad strip of flesh visibly on his torso, and it was nothing indecent, really, nothing unusual, just some fit guy's midriff. But for some reason, Olive couldn't help staring at Adam Carlson's uncovered skin like it was a slab of Italian marble. And then he's like, Olive? He like peeks up, Olive? Like, what are you doing here in the parking lot? You know? And then she's like explaining to him that like Anne wants them to kiss. And so she's freaking out, and he's like, it's okay, like just Olive, breathe, like chill. And Olive did breathe, and the act made her realize that she hadn't done that in a while, which in turn made her smile up at Adam, who did his mouth twitch thing back at her. She was really starting to get used to him, to his expressions, his size, his distinct way of being in the same space as her. And she's like, should we hug or something? He goes, oh, I don't think you want to do that. Like, I'm pretty gross. Like, because he was sweaty, he just pushed a truck. She's like thinking to herself, she's like, well, he doesn't look gross. He didn't look gross. And she's like, well, should we just kiss then? And she's like, well, not kiss, but like the last time, you know? And so he's like confused. He's like, are you sure? Like that you want to kiss? And she's like, yeah. He stepped a little closer, and really, he was not gross. How someone this sweaty, someone who had just pushed a truck, still managed to smell good was a topic worthy of a PhD dissertation, for sure. Earth's finest scientists should have been hard at work on this. She pushed up on her toes, angling her head toward him. It helped very little, as Olive was still not tall enough to reach his mouth, so she tried to get more leverage by putting her other hand on his arm, and immediately realized that she was basically hugging him, which is the exact thing he had asked her not to do a second ago. And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, too close, I didn't mean to," and then she would have finished that sentence if he hadn't closed the distance between them and just kissed her, just like that. It was a little more than a peck, just his lips pressing against hers, and his hands on his waist to steady her a little bit. It was a kiss, but barely, and it certainly didn't warrant the way her heart pounded in her chest, or the fact that there was something warm and liquid looping at the bottom of her belly. Sorry. I'm just getting in my feels now because I love this book. Not unpleasant, but confusing. A bit scary nonetheless, and it had Olive pull back only for a second. When she eased back on her heels, it seemed like a fraction of a moment. Adam followed her, trying to fill the gap between their mouths. Though by the time she blinked herself free of the haze of the kiss, he was standing tall in front of her, cheekbones dusted with red, and chest moving up and down in shallow breaths. She must have dreamed that last bit. She tried to avert her eyes from him now, and he needed to look elsewhere too. Why were they staring at each other? And then they both were all just flustered, and she was like, "Okay, bye, see you later." Like, girly pop, what are you doing? She's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go now." Like, and like freaking out because they'd kissed twice. And then she's like, "I'm going to." They were talking about because there's this other like public event that they wanted to go to where like other like administrators and stuff like that, because Adam is worried that he's a flight risk for leaving the school to like for a better opportunity, so he wants to prove so that his funds get unfrozen so he can still do stuff, that he's there to stay. So like that's the arrangement between him and Olive, like the fake dating part of it, where she pretends to fake date Adam for Anne's benefit, and then he is fake dating Olive so that he can show that the school board or whatever it is that he's like there to kind of stick around. So there's like this picnic event they talk about, and she goes, "Oh, what about the picnic? Are you going?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, the picnic." Like, she's like, "It's on Monday." He goes, "I know." And she goes, "You're still going?" And he gives her a look that clearly stated, "It's not like I have a choice, even though I'd rather have my nails extracted one by one with pliers." And then Adam laughs, and she goes, "Well, I'm going too." And he goes, "Well, at least there's that." Because he's happy she's going to be there. She asks if he's bringing Tom. And he goes, "Probably because he actually likes people." She goes, "Okay, I can network with him a bit, and you and I can show off how steady and committed we are to the department chair. You'll look like a wingless bird, no flight risk whatsoever." And he goes, "Perfect, I'll bring a counterfeit marriage license to casually drop at his feet." Like, bro, stop. You're only a silly, goofy guy for Olive, which I love. And then Anne, like, is like, "Oh, he's really into you. I can tell by the way he stares at you." And then, like, Olive gets all, like, flushed about it. She's like, "Okay, like, okay." Let me see. I don't think there was anything in this chapter that, like, made me... They got into a fight in this one. Yeah, they got into a fight in this next chapter. And, like, she's like... Well, they got into it, like, a texting fight or whatever. You're, like, basically, like, calling him... Like, she's saying you're a dick. But in her monologue, she's like, "Except that I know that you cannot be, and I can't figure out why you're so different with me. I'm absolutely nothing to you, so it doesn't make any sense that you'd have a personality transplant every time you're in my presence." And I'm like, girly pop. You are literally getting a PhD, and you're telling me you don't know that this man has feelings for you? Excuse me? I mean, I get it. I get, like, not being confident in knowing. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely felt that way with, like, my husband. Like, at first been like, no, he doesn't really like me, even though he literally only ever spent all his time with me. I still question him sometimes. I'm like, "Do you even really like me?" And he's like, "We're married." Like, so I get it. I do. But at the same time, I'm like, girly pop. How can you just not know that this man actually has a crush on you? Later on in this chapter, she's talking about Adam and how she's attracted to him. I don't remember exactly how it goes. They're at the picnic now. They're at the picnic later in this chapter. And then this next part that I underlined, which I liked because it just like really shows that like how much Olive actually likes him, and she just doesn't realize, because all the guys, they're all playing like ultimate frisbee or something like that, and there's like a shirtless team. She goes, "All equally shirtless," though no, not equal at all. There was really nothing equal about Adam. Olive wasn't like this. She really was not. She could count the number of guys she had been viscerally attracted to on one hand, actually on one finger, and at that moment said guy was running toward her. And she's talking about Adam. Like, bro, stop. Like, how do you just not know? How do you just not realize that you have feelings for this man? This fine-ass man. Like, you're telling me that you don't realize that you have a crush on him? Actually, goodbye. I didn't underline anything, but I tabbed this part. She was talking about, basically she was talking to Anne about how Adam is. Like, she's just like, yeah, I mean, but he cannot be a dick, you know what I mean? Like, he is a good guy. Like, he isn't good to me. And she's like, he asked me out and I said yes. And she was like, you didn't meet on Tinder? And she's like, no. Yeah, I mean, there was nothing really significant about that, but... Oh, okay, and then this chapter, chapter 8. Oh, this is such another cute moment of like... Sorry, I'm being dramatic. I am being really, really dramatic. But this is like another really cute part. She was working late in the lab and like she was like, okay, I'm coming back for these salt and vinegar chips. Like I'm coming. Like when I deserve my break from working this project where I need a mental break, I'm coming to get these chips. And when she comes back, the chips are gone. So she gets a Twix instead. She was just like, she looks at it and she goes, ugh, I wish you were salt and vinegar chips. And then she doesn't see him in the lounge, and he goes, here, because he has the salt and vinegar chips. And he goes, here. And she gets startled, and she's like, why are you just sitting here in the dark? He goes, because the light's broken. And she was like, why didn't you say something? He goes, I don't know. Like, he goes, I don't know. Like, I just could have asked you the same. And she goes, well, I didn't see you. Why are you sitting in the dark like a creep? And he goes, because the light's broken. And then he offers her, he's like, here, you can have the rest of the chips. And she's like, you? Like, because you took the chips? And he's like, me? She goes, you stole my chips. And he said, sorry, you could have what's left. I didn't have many, I don't think. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, he just like was like, here, you can have the chips. Like, if you want them, just have them. So she offers her the Twix. And he's like, no, I don't like chocolate. Which is important for later. For later. Down the line in the book, okay, which you don't realize at this point, but for later in the book it's important. She's like, you're crazy. And then there's this other part that I made a little note section, not note section, but little heart with a little thing on it. Let me just read it. She actually managed to make him laugh, and it didn't just transform his face, it changed the entire space they were inhabiting. Olive had to convince her lungs not to stop working, to keep taking in oxygen, and her eyes not to get lost in the little lines in the corner of his eyes, the dimples in the center of his cheeks. And then they're talking about how, like, when he was a PhD student too, like, they're like bills and stuff like that, like how he didn't have a lot of money then either, and like she doesn't have a lot of money because she's a PhD student. And then she asks him how old he is, and he goes 34, and she's like, wow, she thought younger or older. Maybe she thought he existed in an ageless dimension. It was so weird to hear a number, to have a year of birth, almost a whole decade before hers. She goes, I'm 26. Which, in the grand scheme of things, that's like, at their age, not that big of an age difference, I feel like. Like, when I read it the first time, I was like, oh, like, that's really not that big of a deal. Like, she's 26 and he's 34. Like, that's not a big age difference. And then when you actually think about it, I'm like, no, that's like an 8-year age difference. That's like a whole 8 years. But yeah, and then this also other section, because they're over here, they're just talking and stuff like that. They're talking about like grad school and everything, and she goes, I know grad school is supposed to be miserable for everyone, but it's depressing to see tenured faculty on here on a Friday night instead of, I don't know, watching Netflix in bed or getting dinner with their girlfriend. He cuts her off and goes, I thought you were my girlfriend. Stop it. Olive smiled up at him. Not quite, but since we're on the but this is like an inner thought. But since we're on the topic, why exactly don't you have one? Because it's getting harder and harder for me to figure that one out. Except that maybe you just don't want one. Maybe you just want to be on your own like everyone, like everything about your behavior suggests. And here I am annoying the shit out of you. I should just pocket my chips and my candy and go back to the stupid protein samples. But for some reason you are so comfortable to be around, and I am drawn to you even though I don't know why. I love it. Love it. Love it. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite parts. This part was so good. I don't know. They're talking about like their bet and everything like that, I think. Oh yeah, no, they're not talking about that. So in a previous chapter, when they got into a fight, Adam had like failed one of her, not one of her friends, but one of her lab mates' dissertation proposals. And he was like, oh, like, are your lab mates giving you a harder time? She's like, well, I was never really his favorite person to begin with. And then she goes, but FYI, I still think that you don't need to be that harsh when you give feedback. We get the gist of what you're saying, even if you give criticism more nicely. And he goes, noted. And then she goes, are you going to be less harsh then? He goes, unlikely. And she sighed and she goes, you know, when I have no more friends and everyone hates me because of this fake dating thing, I'll be super lonely and you're going to have to be the one to hang out with me every day. I'll annoy you all the time. is it really worth being mean to every grad in the program? And he goes, absolutely. He goes, she sighed again, and this time with a smile, and let the side of her head rest on his shoulder. It might have been a bit forward, but it felt natural. Maybe because they seemed to have a knack for getting themselves in situations that required PDA of some sort, but maybe because of everything they talked about, maybe because of the hour of the night. Well, Adam acted like he didn't mind. Oh, this stuff is so sweet. Okay, I think I'm gonna so I'm gonna finish up this chapter and then go eat some lunch because I've been recording again for almost 20 minutes and need to go eat before. And so, okay. So in this next part, she is about to get up to leave, and Adam blinked and there was a gleam in his eyes as if he hadn't thought she'd leave too soon and if he'd liked for her to stay. And then he gives her advice on her research project and was like, oh, maybe like that you should try this. And she goes, oh, thank you. Now I'm actually a bit sorry that I can't have you on my dissertation committee. Perhaps rumors of your cruelty have been greatly exaggerated. His mouth twitched. He goes, maybe you just pull out the best in me. She grinned. Then maybe I should stick around just, to save the department from your terrible moods. And then he makes fun of her for something, which is like kind of cute because it was something they were joking about before because he's a jokester with her, only her. She goes, seriously, it was nice while it lasted, like because she's pretending like they're going to break up. Seriously, it was nice while it lasted. She made to stand and leave indignantly, I don't know, to leave. But he grabbed the sleeve of her shirt and gently tugged at it until she was sitting down again next to him on the narrow couch, maybe even a little closer than before. She continued glaring, but he regarded her blandly, clearly unperturbed. I still can't say certain words. Hate it. He goes, there's nothing bad about taking more than 5 years to graduate. Olive huffed, you just want me to stay around forever and until you have the biggest, fattest, strongest Title IX case to ever exist. He goes, that was my plan all along. In fact, the one and only reason I kissed you out of the blue. And she goes, oh, shut up, because she kissed him out of the blue, so he was making fun of her, obviously. She ducked her chin into her chest, biting her lip and hoping he wouldn't notice her grinning like an idiot she was. Okay, and then someone came in and, interrupted them and was like, oh, Oliver, you're gonna go back to the lab. Let's go. And she was like, first of all, this person, why? She's sitting there with her boyfriend. It's very much, clear and established to, people in this department that, Adam and Oliver are dating. Why would you, she's hanging out with him right now. Why are you, trying to get her to go back to the lab? Just settle down. Let her go on her own time, all right? When they get up to all leave, oh no, I don't lose my spot. When they get up to all leave, he walked past her and she had the impression of knuckles brushing against the back of her hand. And he goes, good night, Olive. Okay. Love this book. Okay. Yeah, I got some big sections left. So I'm on chapter 9 now for my recap, okay? I'll be back later. Maybe not today. I don't know when to do my recap of chapter 9 through 12. Okay, because I've been going on a long time. Okay, you guys, it's the next day. I think is it the next day? It's days later or something. I don't know. Here we are. I'm gonna go back through the chapters that I've already read for the Love Hypothesis. I was on chapter 9 when I left off the other day. And I just wanted to obviously go through beforehand, and I don't know if I'll be able to read anything today, but I really want to, I haven't been able to pick up and read the book in quite a little bit, in about 2 weeks, like I said the other day. So I really just want to go over the reread stuff that I went over with you. So I'm gonna continue going over the parts that I've already read. So in chapter 9, this chapter, a lot wasn't happening. Let me see. Oh, okay, this was a really cute moment. This is when she's going to Adam's house and she's going to his house for the first time because she's gonna meet up with Tom about the studies she's doing to see if she can use his lab, like I had mentioned earlier, the next year. So she's at his house for the first time and she shows up and she says she couldn't see his eyes behind the dark lenses, but she didn't need to. His mouth had curved as soon as he had noticed her and his smile slight but definitely there. He was happy to see her. Ugh, I love this. I feel like not much happened. Okay, so now in this little section here, Olive is basically spiraling in her brain of something that Adam had said that reminded her of the guy from the bathroom, before she'd even gotten into the program. The guy in the bathroom was Adam, but she doesn't realize that it was Adam. She's like, what if we had met years ago? What if Adam was the guy? Oh yeah, this chapter was really cute after everything that happened. Oh my gosh. Okay. She thought the guy was a student and not Adam. Anyways, let me just read you the passage today. Olive remembered her last words to him. Maybe I'll see you next year. And oh, and oh, if only she had known. She felt a surge of something warm and soft and squishy part of herself that she guarded most carefully. She looked at Adam and it swelled even larger, even stronger, even hotter. You, she thought, you are just the most, the worst, the best. And Olive laughed and he was like, what? And she was just like, oh, nothing. Hey, you know what we should do? We should go get coffee to celebrate, because Tom had just given her, like, I'll see you next year, like basically offering her the spot in his lab next year. And this other part that I underlined was like, there had been multiple times since Friday night. There had been 30 times when Olive had forcibly removed her phone from her hands to avoid texting him, because she wanted to text Adam about all this stuff. She wanted to celebrate with him about like the grant and about her getting her spot. Oh yeah, and she also is trying to convince him. So in this part, they're driving to the campus now so that they can go get coffee and stuff. And then she's like, oh yeah, we have to go get like our flu shots, which this was, I thought was funny, but at the same time was like really weird. I was like, why are you putting that in there? Like, there were so many other ways you could have made this scenario come up, but okay. So they have to go get flu shots, and she's like making fun of him because she's like, oh my god, Adam, are you afraid of needles? Like, that's so funny. Yeah, it was just like a really cute, like little bantery moment. The banter, chef's kiss in this book. Chef's kiss, because Adam is only a funny guy for Olive. I keep saying this because it's true. He's only a funny guy for Olive. And she's just like adorable. He is adorable. And then so he starts to walk away, and then she wrapped her hand around his elbow and began to pull him in the direction of the flu shot tent. And then in this part, as they're walking over there, she slid her hand down to his wrist and looked up at him. He was so adorable. And then she said, she goes, oh, if you get the flu shot, we can get ice cream. Like, as if he's a child. And he goes, will you be paying for said ice cream? I love this. And then this last part that I underlined at the end of the chapter, it didn't get much better than this. She smiled, smelling the flower beds and humming a tune under her breath as she and Adam walked quietly, side by side. As they made their way across the quad, her fingers slid down from his wrist and closed around his palm. Why am I getting giddy over words on a page? Why am I getting giddy over words on a page? Stop. Okay. And then chapter 10, the hypothesis for the chapter literally is, if I fall in love, things will invariably end poorly. I tabbed the first page of it. Oh, because this was actually like the beginning of the chapter was really, really cute, because Adam like texted her out of nowhere. She was in the lab. He texted her and was just like, my arm hurts. And she said, from the flu shot? And he's like, yeah, it's really painful. She truly had not thought she was the type to, but here she was covering her mouth with her hand and yes, giggling like a fool in the middle of lab. That would have been me. That literally would have been me. Like, I still do that when I text Michael sometimes, when he texts me like really weird, funny stuff. Like, I'll be like giggling about stuff that he's like saying to me. So that was a really cute part that I really liked. And then, oh yeah, so this is the chapters, because her best friend Malcolm knows that the situation between her and Adam is fake. Like, they're not really dating. So she like goes to talk to him at the coffee shop before she meets up with Adam to be like, I think I'm in love with this man. Like, I think I'm legitimately in love with this man. And I don't know what to do about it. And I can't say anything because it's fake. And she doesn't think that Adam likes her, which he does, obviously. And I'm kind of like, how are you a PhD student and this dumb? But okay. Honestly though, me. Yeah, she's basically like, do I tell him that I have a huge crush on him? Adam shows up as her and Malcolm are talking about it. And she's like, oh no, I wasn't talking about you. Like, I wasn't talking about you. And he's like, I know. Which is like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, girly pop and bro, what are you doing? Anyways, let me see. Did I underline anything else? But yeah, so this whole chapter was basically just that interaction. Was just that interaction of like basically like her talking to Adam about how like, oh yeah, like the crush wasn't like I wasn't talking about you, and he thought like she meant Jeremy. Jeremy? No. Goodbye. And then they're talking about how he's leaving for Boston. Yeah, so they talk about that and how like he's leaving for Boston, I think. Holden, Adam's friend, who's also a professor, also comes over and starts talking about like things about Adam from his past, because he thinks that him and Olive are just like sitting there on a date or whatever. It's talking about him from his past and just like bringing things up to Olive, and like Adam just getting all flustered, and Holden doesn't like Tom. whole big thing. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit off track. So now I'm in chapter 12, right before where I left off into the entire book. Basically, in the beginning of this chapter, she's basically talking about how she misses Adam in a sense, because she didn't realize like how much she would miss him when he's actually gone. And she kind of discovers like what the feeling of having like actually having feelings for someone is, and like what liking someone is, because she's talked about in earlier parts of the book, which I feel like I mentioned, but I don't know, maybe I didn't, how she's never really like had feelings for someone before, where like she's never really had crushes or like sexual attraction to other people. And I think I did say this before, that she said that she could count on one hand how many people that she's felt this way about, and that he was like looking right at her, which was, she was talking about Adam. For the first time, there was something else she'd rather be doing, someone else she'd rather be with. So this is liking someone, she mused. Yeah. So she was sad that she wasn't gonna be like able to run into him or see him, things like that. And then this little text exchange between them was really cute. Adam had sent Olive a picture of a pumpkin pie frappuccino and says, "Think I can smuggle this on the plane?" She didn't need to be told that she was grinning at her phone like an idiot. And Olive goes, "Well, TSA is notoriously incompetent, though maybe not that incompetent." And he goes, "Too bad." And then he says, "Wish you were here then." And then later in the chapter, she runs into Holden, who is one of the professors, like I said previously, who's friends with Adam. And he was basically like saying how like Adam had like a really big crush on someone in the department, and she thinks that it's just some other professor, but it's not. It's literally Olive. And I'm kind of like, how are you gonna be that dumb? Like, girly pop. What do you mean? So she's now feeling guilty about like pretending to date him when he could potentially be with someone else that he wants to be with, which he is with who he wants to be with. She's just being dumb. And then yeah, basically. The only other thing is that her talk got accepted into the little thing that they're going to. The little thing that they're going to in Boston, her talk got accepted as like an actual like talk, like not just to have like a little table about it, which was really exciting for her, but she was really nervous about it. But that's not really important to like it's important to the story, but like not to like the giddy feelings I got while reading the book. But yeah, now we're all caught up. We are all caught up. I just wanted to catch you guys up on the book because that's the whole point of this vlog. Read my 5-star reads with me reading vlog. So that's what this is supposed to be. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Okay. I will pick this back up when I pick up this book next. I literally have not picked up The Love Hypothesis in quite a while, actually. So I decided to pick it up right now and start reading it. Michael's actually downstairs playing video games, by the way, so if you can hear him, I apologize. But anyways, I literally was gonna start reading this, and then like I forgot what the like the header for chapter 13 was, which is what I'm on it now. Approximately 2 out of 3 fake dating situations will eventually involve room sharing. 50% of room sharing situations will be further complicated by the presence of only one bed. Like, come on. Who doesn't love a 1-bed trope? I think we all love a 1-bed trope, honestly. I sure do. I sure freaking do. Oh my gosh, why am I reading? Okay, well, I'm using a mic now because Michael just talks extremely loud. So if I have something to say, I'll say it into the mic. Also, if there's like a really loud ringing or something like that, I'm really sorry because I don't know what's going on as to why the ringing is just ringing or what it is. Okay, anyways, the thing that I was trying to say before I put this mic in was she hadn't forgotten his voice or his height or the way his stupid clothes fit him. She couldn't have. She had 2 medial temporal lobes fully functioning and tucked nicely inside of her skull, which meant that she was perfectly able to encode and store memories. Because she missed him. Stop. Okay, I'm already fucking getting in my feels. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. This next section was really cute. It made me smile. She
She asked him to sit down. She was like, you don't have to. I know you're busy. MacArthur grants to win and grads to brutalize and broccoli to eat. You'd probably rather be anywhere else. She bit her thumbnail, feeling guilty, starting to panic, and then he smiled. And suddenly there were grooves around his mouth and dimples in his cheeks, and his face was completely altered by them. The air at the table thinned. Olive couldn't quite breathe. How cute. That was so cute. Now she's kind of going on, kind of like a dummy. It's kind of funny. She's just like, but there will only be one bed. He goes, no, it's a double. She goes, no, there's always only one bed for sure. He goes, no, I got the booking confirmation. And he's like not picking up what she's putting down, obviously. And he's like, no, like there's gonna be 2 beds in there, so I've got to worry. This is kind of funny. She's just like, well, us staying together seems like a bad idea. Olive, first of all, just stop. It's not a bad idea. It's a very good idea. She goes, it seems like a bad idea. That's fine. I just don't understand why. And she goes, because, she does this whole like inner dialogue thing. It's because I don't want to, because I have it bad, because I'd probably have it even worse after that, because it's going to be the week of September 29th and I've been trying hard not to think about it. And then Adam goes, are you afraid that I'll try to kiss you without your consent, to sit on your lap, or fondle you under the pretext of applying sunscreen? Because I would never. Which is obviously all things Olive has done to Adam. And he's just like innocent bystander. He's just taking it. He's just a good chap. She's like, am I ever going to live that stuff down? Unlikely. And if you do, I'm sure something else will come up. That's true. This statement is very me. To be fair, I don't like people in general. Me. What a cute gesture. He was like, send me your slides for your talk. And she was like, oh no, you don't have to. Like, I'm not your student. He was like, no, I want to read them so I can help you. It's literally the bare minimum, but why is it getting me? Oh, I love this. It goes, it hit her then, what was so special about Adam, that no matter his reputation or how rocky their first meeting, since the very beginning, Olive had felt that he was on her side. Over and over, in ways that she could never have anticipated, he had made her feel unjudged and less alone. We love that. I just love this book already, like so much, like just coming back and reading it. I just love it so much. I'm on chapter 14 right now, and I'm on page 219. This book, I don't know how many pages it has. How many does it have? The epilogue here. Oh, okay. 352 pages. Oh, I actually don't have that much left. This next part is just all For Love on the Brain, which is another book I've read. I don't have that much left. It's like, I mean, a pretty decent chunk, obviously, but I don't know. Like, I'm trying to debate on if I want to continue, like, doing the vlog like this, where it's, like, real-time reactions to like me reading it, or like kind of going back and like redoing certain things, you know what I mean? Like, I like this way, but also sometimes I feel like a little like distracted because like I know the camera is going. I have to remember like, oh, like yeah, I have to say something. But even though I literally could just talk Like, I could just turn the camera on and talk at a specific moment and then do another clip. I'd have a lot of clips. I'm gonna have a lot of clips. This video is already gonna be really long. You're welcome if you like long videos. If I have anything else to say, or like anything cute that I want to like say in the book, I will turn the camera on.
Okay, I'm at the part in the book right now where Olive just gave her talk at the conference and she's like wrapping up and Tom came over to talk to her. And this part makes me so freaking angry because Tom is obviously just trying to be a manipulator. And I'm like, Borowski, literally, even though they're fake dating, you know that this is your friend's girlfriend. Like, this is his girlfriend, and you're over here trying to put the moves on her, trying to kiss her, trying to put the moves on her, trying to force her into doing something she doesn't want to do. And she's literally like, what are you doing? Makes me so freaking mad. Yeah, he like literally was like, don't lie to me and say you didn't pick out a dress that short for my benefit. Nice legs, by the way. I can see why Adam's wasting his time with you. Okay, first of all, the audacity. The audacity of you to think, first of all, that I picked out this outfit for you. Someone who's not even on my radar. Okay. Second of all, say Adam, my friend, is wasting his time with you as if I'm not trying to get with you right now. Rude. Oh my god. Makes me so freaking mad. And now he's discrediting her as a scientist, even though she was literally asked to speak at a science conference, like a giant national conference. He was like, you don't think I accepted you into my lab because you're good, do you? Fuck off, dude. Fuck off. I forgot that he said this to her. He literally was like, you fucked Adam, didn't you? We both know you were gonna fuck me for the same reason. Yeah, he was like, you used Adam to get to me in my lab, to this conference too. I didn't even know you and Adam, I didn't even know Adam when I submitted, is what she said. First of all, she didn't even know that him and Adam knew each other. Oh, this is making me so freaking mad. He goes, oh please, you're telling me that you thought your pitiful abstract was selected for a talk because of its quality and scientific importance? Someone here has a very high opinion of herself, considering that her research is useless and derivative and that she can barely put two words together without stuttering like an idiot. Excuse me. Fucking sir. Oof. Ooh. If I was Olive. The audacity of him to also think that, like, Adam wouldn't believe Olive. Like, Olive to be like, I'm telling Adam. Him being like, oh yeah, go ahead. By all means. Because he thinks that she's too chicken. And that she won't. Buddy boy, let me tell you. And he's like, who do you think Adam will believe? Excuse you? He says, because this is not true about Olive, okay? Because she's a wonderful person. He goes, some bitch he's been fucking for about 2 weeks, or someone who's been his close friend for years. Someone who helped him get the most important grant of his career. Someone who's had his back since he was younger than you are. Someone who is actually a good scientist. Oof, he goes, it's a bit annoying how he needs to be the best at everything and the idea of taking something from him for once. He goes, because you are very pretty and I look forward to spending more time with you next year. Who would have guessed that Adam had such great taste? He literally is like about to sit here and like talk about how he's gonna plagiarize her work. I can't believe this. I literally cannot believe that. Like, bro, who are you? Okay, and now this is the good part. This is like where Adam like consoles her because he finds her and consoles her about what happened, or I don't know what happened. I don't know if she tells him right away. Oh. Adam. Oh my god, I love him. Okay. I'm sorry. I should not be sounding like that. Gonna tab this pot. I'll update you if anything good happens, because I don't remember. I mean, I know something good happens very soon. This section where she's crying and upset, I don't think anything like significant really happened.
stop. This just like one little section just made me like so like giggle and like laugh to myself. Like, oh, so Olive was obviously upset and like he was like, okay, like come on, come with me. And she's like, where are we going? He goes, to get some free alcohol. Well, free for you. And she's like, no, Adam, you have to go to the department social, the opening ceremony, you're the keynote speaker. And he goes, yes, I keynote spoke. And she's just like, no. And she's like, Adam, you can't skip these events, people will say that. And then he goes, that I want to spend time with my girlfriend. Bro, why do I just get so giddy? I don't get it. I just don't, you know? And of course I wrote, why does this make me so giddy? Because it does. Okay, so these next two lines, I'm cracking up. This is funny. She goes, you know the room, because, okay, so back it up. Another cute thing. So Olive's feet were hurting after they went out for a sushi date, and she was wearing the heels that she was wearing, and so she took them off in the elevator. She was like, oh yeah, now my feet are hurting. And so of course he sweeps her up into like the bridal carry and like carries her to the room, and she's like, you know the room's only 20 meters away. And he goes, I have no idea what that means. And she goes, Adam. And he's like, we Americans think in feet, Canada. And I'm like, he's a scientist. The man would know the conversions. He absolutely would know the fucking conversions. And I just think that's hysterical. Okay, so I'm at the part where it starts getting a little steamy. A little steamy. I'm not going to read that on camera because that's just a little awkward, especially since you know it's the steamy part. I know, literally, like, they're back at the hotel and, you know, Adam had just, like, basically confessed all of this stuff to her. And she kissed him, obviously, because he was like, I wish that you could see yourself the way I see you. And so she kissed him. And he was like, nope, we can't do this. And she says, why? Like, sir, why? Like, and he's just like, because you're in love with someone else. And he's like, I don't want you to regret it in any way. I don't want you to regret this. And then he does the thing where he's like, you have no idea what I want, and pulls her hand. So if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And then she's like, she's feeling brave, let me tell you, okay? She's brave. She's like, she like steps closer to him, and he was like, you said no sex. And she's like still stepping closer, and she's just like, well, I also said this was only on campus, and we just went out to dinner. And then literally was like, he was like, well, I don't have anything, like he doesn't have a condom or anything like that. And she's like, oh, well, it's okay. Girly pop. You literally are just like, it's fine. Like, you literally earlier in this book talk about how you aren't into sex and that like you find it very hard to feel sexual attraction to a person. And I mean, I guess in a way it's like fine, it's like whatever, they're adults, but like at the same time I'm like, girly pop, you literally are like, it's fine, you're trying to get your jollies off that already, and you're like, it's fine, girly. What? So now I'm on chapter 16. Chapter 16. She's a spicy one. I'm not going to read it now because I do actually have to go to work. It's a long chapter. It's a pretty long chapter. Yeah. Anyways, I do have to go to work, so I will not be reading it now, but I will be reading it later. So I will read it later. Bye. You guys, it's much later now. Past the spicy. Okay, I'm not past it. I'm still in the thick of it. Okay, but at this one part, I'm kind of like, girly, what? They were just, you know, the deed was done. She was like, no, we only have one night. And he was like, no, we should go to bed. Like, because she said that she was like tired and everything like that, but she wants to help him out because she, you know, she wants to do that. She was like, no, we only have like one night and I want the whole night. And then in this little part right here, it makes me so confused because I'm like, and like I know people during sex just say some things sometimes, but I'm like, the things he was saying to you beforehand and kind of during, I'm like, girly, what makes you think that? Like, why do you think? Anyways, let me read it to you. She says, but we only have one night, one single night. One night for Olive to suspend the outside world to avoid thinking about Tom and what had happened earlier today and the mysterious woman Adam was in love with. One night to forget that whatever feelings she had for him, they were not mutual. What do you mean not mutual? Girly, what do you mean? He literally like confessed like to how much he wanted you for so long. What do you mean? Anyways, but I liked their playful banter afterwards because of course my dog chooses this moment to chew on her toy as if she wasn't just sleeping on my feet right here. Rude. No, but I do enjoy the playful banter in between, like, because of like all of this like uneasiness with Olive, like with the whole situation, because she wants it, she just doesn't know how to express that while it was like going on or like afterwards. Like they had this like really playful banter and like it was very coupley, it was very relationshipy, which I really really liked because it was just so natural for them, because like we know Adam is only a jokester for Olive. So yeah, I was like really happy to see that. It just like makes me really giddy, you know, just really really giddy. I'm gonna continue reading because I'm still in some spicy areas and I don't need you to see me read that, okay? Guys, I am now sad. Okay, I didn't realize how sad this part actually made me. Like, I'm reading it and I'm like, I'm so heartbroken. I really am. Because Olive's she's basically breaking up with Adam right now because of Tom and like thinking that this is what's for the best and that like he doesn't have the same feelings for her that she has for him. But I'm like, girly, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, like, why would he have invited you over to his hotel, the new hotel he's staying at because of his Harvard interviews, and ask you out to dinner, especially after like, you know, like spending the night together, like in that way, ask you out to dinner and like actually try for you, like for him to not have feelings for you? Like, what do you mean? Oh, he said this really sweet line and then she was just like, I just hated that for him because I just love Adam. She goes, I'll have to put them on my cover letter. Fake girlfriend with extensive experience, Microsoft Office, and excellent sunscreen skills. Available immediately. Only serious callers. And he goes, not immediately. He looked at her curiously, tenderly. Not for a while, I'd say. This makes me so sad because this man really was under the impression that they were gonna actually be together now, and I would have been under the impression too, you know what I mean? This is what I hate about like third act breakups. Like third act breakups are fucking dumb, okay? They're the worst. You know, she was like, we gave ourselves a deadline and it's just time to stop. And it's like, stop being an idiot. Stop. Just stop. You know what I mean? He obviously was like kind of in shock, to be fair. As one would probably be when you think that the girl you're inviting over to take on a date, to probably ask to be your real girlfriend now, comes to break up with you because you set a deadline as this date being the day you break up. Excuse me? He was probably in shock. Anyway, he was like, but if you ever need anything at all, you can come to me. I want you to come to me. Olive. I don't have much left in the book. I don't think, because I only have the bonus. Well, not only have the bonus, but 3. Okay, and then there's a bonus chapter. Cool. I'm on page 305. So when the end comes, I only got like about 50-ish pages left. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading. Things are heating up. They're heating up. Okay, this is like the ending. This is like one of my favorite things because Adam literally like does a 180, does his 180 of like who he is, like of his calm and like timid, not even timid, but his calm persona of like just kind of always being there. Because right now Olive had just interrupted the interview dinner to tell Adam about what Tom did, and so she plays the video and Adam is like immediately furious. I'm just like
Yeah. Yeah, Adam. Like, you tell him, Adam. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay. So let me start from this part. Tom was coming closer again, reattempting to take the phone away. I'm not sure what this bitch's problem is, but she's clearly... Adam exploded so fast she didn't even see him move. One moment he stood in front of her, and then the next he was pinning Tom against the wall. I'm going to kill you, he gritted out. Little more than a growl. If you say another word about the woman I love, if you look at her, if you even think about her, I'm going to fucking kill you. All I know in that moment, if I was Olive, I would be not scared in the way of like that you're maybe thinking. I would be scared for Tom's life, but I would be like, this is for me. For me, I obviously wouldn't be like that in that moment, you know, after the fact. I'd be like, so you really did all that for me? And he goes, actually, I'll kill you anyway. And the only thing to pull him back from killing this man was her voice. Like, stop. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love this. Okay, I just finished the actual epilogue and now I'm about to read the extended bonus chapter, which is the spicy scene. So we're not gonna read that together. I don't know how long it is. Oh wow, it's actually quite long from his perspective. Anyways, I just finished it. It just makes me so happy. 5 stars. 5 stars. Like, there was just 5 stars. It just makes me so happy. I love this book so much. This hands down, I think, is still my favorite book of all time. Like, one of my favorite books of all time. Like, maybe tied between this and Fourth Wing, but they're not even the same genre. They don't even compare, like, in the way that they made me feel in, like, who I was before and after as a reader. So, yeah. I'm gonna read this last bonus epilogue, and then I'll chat with you guys tomorrow about it, because I just can't shut up about this book. You guys, I just finished the last bonus chapter of The Love Hypothesis, so that means that this official reread has come to an end, and I'm sad to say that it has. I cannot put into words like how much I actually absolutely love this book. Like, reading it a second time just like amplified my love for it. Like, it just, like, something about it just makes me so happy and so giddy, and just like, I love Adam and Olive together. I love Adam as a person and I love Olive as a person, and they're just like two people who just like are so opposites in personalities, who like literally just like come together and like bring out the best in each other. And I just love that. I absolutely love, especially the way that like Olive brings out the best in Adam, because, you know, he's very much this standoffish, like, as being told, like, antagonistic and unapproachable, but he just like brings out the like softness in him and just like the love that he can provide to people. And I just love that. Like, I just love that he is such a lover boy for Olive, and I just love this book. It's still a 5 stars. It is a 6 stars. It is a 100 stars over again book. This is my favorite book ever, especially by Ali Hazelwood, but just in general, just ever. Like, there's just nothing that, like, I don't know. I just love them. I really do. I'm just so happy that I reread this book and that I went back in and I annotated and I tabbed and stuff like that. This is 100% going to be like, if I'm in a book slump, getting out of a book slump, like, type of book. You know what I mean? Like, people have those books for them, and this is definitely mine. And I'm just, well, first of all, glad that we got to do this together, that we went through this journey of rereading and you getting to see my full thoughts in general while rereading it. I really love that. I really didn't know how I was going to do this video, but I figured that maybe this was the best way. And I think I'm going to continuously do this for my other 5-star reads. So let me know if you liked that. If you didn't like it, also let me know, like, if you'd prefer like a different vlog-ish style, like rather seeing me read, or what am I trying to say?
because I kind of did it 2 different ways. I kind of did it where it was like real-time reading reactions, and then also like reading parts and then going through and going back and like revisiting all my favorite parts with you guys of the parts that I had already read. So I guess just kind of let me know like which ones are your favorite or which kind of style you prefer, because I absolutely love doing both. I might do a mix of both in my next one. I don't know what 5-star read I'm gonna do next, but yeah, that is the end of rereading The Love Hypothesis. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for coming along with me on this journey. Like I said, I really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social medias as well as subscribing to my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.